Do you ever have fitness goals for yourself, yet your family doesn't seem to be on board, or your spouse or your roommate? This happens to all of us, right? And today we have a special guest with us. Whoop, whoop. We have Andy Vinkeer joining us, and she is going to help us figure out how to include our family and our friends in our fitness, health, and weight loss journey. This is going to be awesome. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to LadyBoss Unplugged. This is Molly Richards, your host. I am beyond excited to empower you to overcome life's obstacles, to form new healthy habits, to cultivate a growth mindset, as well as bring in some super cool guests who will share their own kind of magic with you. Oh, and did I mention we'll have fun too? Heck yes, we will. Join me for weekly, unfiltered, raw, real, and encouraging conversations that inspire transformative change, that give you the tools to create a positive domino effect in every aspect of your life, and just have fun hanging out. Now, let's get unplugged. This is Molly Richards. Welcome to LadyBoss Unplugged. I am your host, and today I am so excited. I seem to be so excited all the time, right? But just being able to host this podcast makes me so happy because it means that we get to hang out, and not just you and I, we get to have guests as well. And today, like I said, we have Andy Vinkeer.
Woo-hoo.
I'm saying it right, Andy, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
Andy Vinkeer that rhymes with stinker. So always remember, now the whole internet is going to call me Andy Stinker. Please don't.
Even tempt you. Do not tempt me, Andy. Okay. You tell me something like that, and then it's on, girl.
It's
Okay.
in there.
So if you didn't listen to a podcast yet with Andy, I'm going to give her a really quick intro because girlfriend deserves an awesome intro. She deserves a drum roll. She deserves a red carpet, some confetti thrown at her, maybe sprinkled on her, not thrown. But Andy is just awesome. And I'm so honored to know her and to be able to, be part of the LadyBoss community with her. So Andy is the LadyBoss lead trainer. What? She is a wife. She's a mom of 3. Hello, 3. She is also a podcaster. She is a published author. She is 15 years in the fitness industry. Awesome. And we both, I love to say we, because when you told me this fact, I was like, girl, I'm right there with you, have lost 65 pounds on our postpartum journeys. And I think we also, and we were also both fitness instructors. I'm former, she's current. And so we have a lot in common. So I just want you to know that you should have been here when we first met because it was all like laughing and giggles and smiles. So we're going to also carry that forward in today's podcast. And Andy, I'm just so happy to hang out with you and to have you on the podcast. And so everyone who gets to listen to this gets blessed by your knowledge and your heart, and you are just so real. And LadyBoss Unplugged is about being real and raw. So thank you for that.
Yeah, have to. That's all you're gonna get from me. I'm so excited to be here.
You have so much awesome wisdom and knowledge and stories to share. And so today I'm excited to cover this topic. So many times you've seen this too, and you've probably done this in your own life. You have a weight loss goal or a fitness goal, and your husband isn't on board or isn't really rooting for you. That's hard, right? Or everyone in the house is eating Oreos and you're like, I'm trying not to eat Oreos. I try not to use that I can't have because we can have whatever we want. We're just like, I'm choosing not to have Oreos right now.
Different seasons. We have seasons, right?
Exactly. So we would love for you to share some of your best tips and practices on how to include your family in your fitness journey.
Cool. I'm still in the process of learning this. And so this is, I'm not an expert in this space. It's a real journey that we're still working on. Yeah. But yeah, so like Molly said, I have 3 kids. There are, 11, 9, and 2. And so we have a nice little gap, but they're all at these different ranges where I'm learning so much about, like, first, that language matters, right? Language around fitness matters. And around our own health as well. But then also I think it's been fun to figure out that my kids, they have their own individual personalities. There's no way to decide how to give them personalities.
Yep.
They have their own interests, their own likes. And so trying to figure out how to share something that I love in a way that I can also speak their language and help them find something that they love, maybe under the same umbrella of like health and fitness, but in a way that's catered to them.
Yes.
I've shared before that when I was growing up, my dad wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. He wanted us to like love fitness. And the first thing he did was take us to the rec center to run the track or to swim. We would also swim. And also I'm terrified of water. So that was also just not a good fit. But that was really hard for me. And I know that it was hard for him too, because I would just scream and cry and tantrum. I'm like 14 years old. I'm not even a baby. Like a teenager being like, I don't want to go to the gym, Dad.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was just so, I recognize that now as an adult, like that was probably so hard for him, trying to share something that he loved so much with his family and to get this reception that was so, anti what he loved and what he believed. And like, I can feel that now as I try and explore that with my kids, as I share things that I love and trying to be okay with the fact that they might not love things the same that I do or the same way I do. But still trying to figure out, well, what do you like and how can we feed that instead of me getting, staying sad, like, oh, I just want them to be like big weightlifters like me.
Yes.
Which one of them does want to be. So I'm like,
nice.
Trying to like gently continue to push him that direction. But yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because then also I know that I've had different friends too that trying to navigate this balance of like, how do we do fitness? If it's all or nothing for one person in the family, it can also create a barrier of resentment, being like, okay, so clearly exercise is more important to mom than I am. And so that's something we also want to be kind of put on our radar as well.
Yes.
And like, so how do we do all of it? Being a conscious parent, how do we include them in fitness? How do we share what we love and do so in a way that's positive and productive? I don't know. What have you had this?
I love that. Yes. So my kids are a little bit older than yours. Mine are 23 and 28. And you're making me think of like reliving all of this as you're talking about your young ones. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Or like, oh wow, I probably messed up a bit. Moms, we all
learning.
Mess up.
It's all learning.
So much.
It's all just gathering data, right?
Yes. And then trying better the next day. But yes, I look back and I think of I remember like, because I was I was doing my fitness journey and I would go to the gym and I was a fitness instructor and they didn't really want to attend classes back then. But I would say like, what do you want to do that moves your body today? What would be fun to you to move your body? You know what I mean? Instead of how do you want to have muscles or, lose weight? Like, because I love that you said language around health and fitness matters. Y'all write that down. Like that was so big to me because I was so scared that I was going to my daughter, especially having a daughter, that I would say like, I'm doing this to get skinny. I'm doing this because I think I'm fat. I tried never to say I'm fat around her. And I know I did because I wasn't always aware of the language that was, things that were coming out of my mouth that were just out of habit. Yeah. And so always just being like, hey, everybody, let's all go run at the beach like run and play a game at the beach today. We live by the beach, or let's all go do this activity. But instead of being like, we're doing this to lose weight, I think is like really important. And then for me, like, and Kevin, we were always like, let's have our kids do something active always. They always had to do something active. And as we know now, like being sedentary is basically like just going to cause disease. That wasn't so much 20 years ago. Did we talk about it as much? But anyway, I think that when you said language around health and fitness matters, that was just like, oh my goodness, so good. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I think it is really interesting too. Like I had moments because like when my kids were getting younger, I'd be like, okay, let's eat this so we can have big, strong muscles. And my oldest son said, I don't want big, strong muscles. It hurts my tummy. And I said, oh, buddy. And so then that even was like a really interesting finding for me to even shift our language to like, does this make your tummy feel good? You know what I mean? Like, did you eat too much? Did you eat too little? Does your tummy feel okay? Is your tummy happy? It was like always the language. And so now I'm like, as an adult, is my tummy happy? But yeah, it's true how much it matters and how it can really make or break our relationship and our family's relationship with health and fitness, and how it can skew how I think it's really interesting because a lot of times our kids are listening. I remember people telling me like, your kids are always listening. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like she's 2, you know what I mean? But it's like, no, they really do listen, and they really do pick up on the way that we speak about ourselves. And I even remember hearing my mom and my dad, the way they speak about themselves, and how sometimes it would make me realize or it would make me question, like, am I fat? Am I too big? Am I like whatever, and it shifts a lot of the focus from a very young age to our appearance instead of like what makes us feel good, right? But I love that your kids always did something. We always try to encourage our kids to do sports. Like you have to at least try one. You have to try something.
Yeah.
And we have found a whole lot of kids, a whole lot of sports that my one son does not like, but we still try them, and we still try to like encourage some kind of movement or game or something. And we live in a time that's really cool. Like, I'm not a fan of like Pokemon Go, mostly because I don't like games on my phone, but I knew that there are like really cool things like that people are really trying to find. Like, if fitness isn't your thing, excuse me, if like a kid wants to learn how to move but like doesn't like it, here's a game, here's a way to gamify it and make it something to look forward to. You know what I mean? So it is cool now that we have really nice resources, more than we did even like 5-10 years ago, for kids to learn fitness or to get excited about movement, especially now that we're seeing a big turn. Like you said, it is pointed out that sedentary lifestyles can be more dangerous, not even just like, oh, this isn't bad, or this is kind of bad for us. And like, no, it can be actually kind of dangerous for us and our mental health and our physical health. And so how can we make it something to look forward to in this time where everything is kind of sedentary? Like, we can work from home. All our homework and schoolwork is now on like computers and stuff. Like, how do we make it part of our daily routine?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. I love that.
Sorry, that was all over the place.
It was so good. This is called LadyBoss Unplugged. There is we just chat. We're chatting and we're hanging out. And you made me think of the Wii Fitness back in the day. And I mean, that made our kids, we were bowling, we were playing tennis, we were doing all these fun things, and we're also playing video games. So it was kind of funny. I remember doing that. So I love that our kids are literally watching us all the time. They really are. They're listening, they're watching. We are their example. And so when we move, they'll probably move. When we decide to sit, they probably will as well, right? Like,
absolutely.
If we're going to sit on the couch and say, go out and play, they're going to be like, but you're sitting. So we have an opportunity, I feel, as parents to just really be such the leader when it comes to making good choices. And again, we don't say perfect. Like, I love a good chocolate chip cookie. Okay, I'm going to have the cookie, but I'm also going to decide every day that I'm going to move my body because it makes me feel really good. And that's what I always, you know what I mean? But we have this decision as parents to just be the example, right? So it's not about lecturing them, but being the example. So you made me think of, when it comes to someone's partner, someone's spouse, that, especially as a former instructor, women would come up to me and say, I feel so good, but how do I get my guy on board? How do I get my daughter on board, right? But mostly they would say about their spouse, or sometimes even worse than that, a spouse would talk them out of it. They would like try to sabotage them. Has that ever, you know what I mean? So what can we do when we're like, you know what? I want to get more fit. I want to drop a couple, drop a size, drop some pounds. I want to fit in this dress. Like, I want to feel good. What do you suggest people do to get their person, their loved one, like to join them and maybe support them, but maybe even join them, which would be even more amazing?
I think it's tricky. Like, my friend and I have this conversation a lot. Like, I am extremely active and I love like the gym, and I love moving my body, and I love the way I feel. And my husband is someone that is not. Like, he'll always joke, like his workout happens like 3 months of the year. he's a snowmobiler and like kills it. And he's like, that was my workout for the year. And I'm like, that's kind of been his personality. Unless we're doing like stuff as a family, like hiking or whatever. And so when I've had my friend and I, we talk about this often, being like, well, how would I feel if my husband was to approach me and be like, hey, so I'm losing a couple pounds. I think you should too. And this actually has happened to one of my clients. And it was such a dangerous, it was a dangerous conversation. I think mostly the way he approached it. But because I think it always comes down from a place of love. You know, we're not necessarily like, oh, my husband's like so out of shape, like I wish he was hot like me. Like that's not usually the case. It's like I feel really good and I want to share this feeling with someone that I love. It's just like anything. When you love a product, you share it with all the people you love. And it's kind of a tricky I'm like even trying to describe it. I feel like it's a tricky territory because it just depends. And so I think it kind of goes back, at least for me, I would kind of revert back to the way I do with my kids. Like, well, what is your flavor of fitness? You like snowmobiling? Okay. So let's go snowmobiling. And how can we do that? And what is something that, you know, like we can't go snowmobiling when it's midsummer here in Utah and it's 108 degrees. What can we do together that will like still give you that feeling, that rush, that release? Because that's really what it comes down to for a lot of us. It's like we're not exercising always to look a certain way. It's because we love the release. We love like the freedom that we feel in movement. And so like what can we do to replicate that throughout the year? And so I think sometimes we do have like those rare unicorn husbands that will be like, I'll come to group fitness with you, and we love them. Shout out to the unicorn husbands. And sometimes they'll be the ones that lead the family into the group fitness. Like I've seen that too. But I think just knowing your person and knowing what they need and how to approach that. I'm like, it's tricky. It's tricky. I think, and remembering too, like coming back to why do I want to invite them to this? You know, like, is it because I love them? Is it because I love this? Or is it because I feel like I want to change them? Because we can't, right? We can't change them. People will only do what they want to do always. And so when how can I introduce something that I love so much in a way that they're going to want to be a part of it? Maybe it looks like 9 Square as a family. Maybe it looks like going on a walk in the afternoons or taking up snowmobiling 3 months of the year. Right. But trying to figure out maybe what's their language, what's their fitness flavor, and how can I make it work for me too? How can we make it fun for everyone, right?
I love your term. What is your flavor of fitness? Because I know that everyone does have a different flavor. Like, you know, my husband did like CrossFit forever. And I was like, I am not a CrossFitter. Like I could barely do a pull-up, you know, and I could do an assisted one. But, and also like everyone just has different things. Someone likes yoga. Someone likes, you know, it's whatever makes you happy. I think is so like important to know what your flavor is. And your flavor could be like, you know, different things all mixed together too. Right.
It's true. A whole salad.
A whole salad. But I love that you said like do it like on the weekends. Kevin and I always do something together on the weekends that's active. Like we'll go on a hike, we'll go on a walk, we'll go snowboarding in the winter, or like supping, stand-up paddleboarding together, or whatever it is, right? But during the week, many times he wants to go lift heavy. He has a different goal than me. I don't want to bulk. I want to get long, nice muscles, but I love yoga. I haven't done Zumba. Is that sad? All of my fitness life. I'm going to Utah next weekend to take your class now. But we have different things. And I think though, like when you said all this, it made me think of how important it is to be like, awesome job, babe. Like, I'm so proud of you. You look so good. Like me encouraging him is, by the way, if you want your spouse to encourage you, compliment him and he's going to compliment you back along your journey. And when we get those compliments, we're going to be like, heck yes, I'm going to class. I like words of affirmation personally. So I want Kevin to say to me, like, I see you going. I'm so proud of you. You're looking good. Do you feel good? Like we do that for each other. And I think that is a really good way to help include your spouse, not on all of your journey, but on his own. Like we just want to look good for each other. We're married almost 29 years. I want to always look good for me. but I also want to be, like we always say, be each other's boyfriend and girlfriend, no matter how long you've been married. When I was Kevin's girlfriend, I was really in better shape. You know what I mean? Like I have to go back to that. So anyway, I'm totally digressing, but I feel like when you both in your house decide to just do something to feel good and then encourage each other, you're going to go further than like, why are you going to the gym today? Come sleep in, right? Like kind of, and it goes back to having a goal and then sharing that goal with your spouse. Do you think that's important?
Absolutely. And like even when you were saying that, like that last part, like why do you have to go to the gym again? Like that is so like how that's one of those check yourself moments. If you ever feel like this need to kind of pull your spouse away from something that they love, like that we gotta find some self-love there. But
I know, right?
we need a little check yourself moment. But it's how often does that happen? How often can we take something that our spouses or our loved ones just love so much, and how often do we make them feel like, yeah, you love that, but it's probably because you love it more than me. Like, do you love it more than me? And like maybe I don't know. Now I'm going into the weeds, but bottom line, like you're right. Having having that outside validation from someone that you care about can go so much further than saying like, "Hey, you should go to the gym today." You know what I mean? Like being able to say, "Hey, I see your efforts. You look really happy. Like you're looking so energized. What are you doing differently? I'm so excited for you." Because I think, and in any sense, whether it's at work, professionally, or like doing something at home, it's like you always see the reels of like the husband's like opening the trash bag super loud to be like, my wife's gonna notice this time, like that kind of stuff. I think it matters. Like it does matter to our spouses that we notice them, that we see them. And I think of all our families and our friends too, when we can see them and celebrate them, because I know it's definitely a challenge to like celebrate our own small wins, but how often are we encouraging our kids or our spouses to celebrate theirs as well? To just be like, hey, did you notice like you're looking really good. Like, have you noticed? Because I have, in that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you're looking so happy. You're looking so relaxed. Like that's probably when I'm most excited for my husband, is when he looks like, I can breathe. Yeah. So being able to point that out and be like, do you feel good? Because you look like you feel good.
Yeah. And also, like, even if it's like 1 hour at the gym, like us as women, I mean, like, I enjoy that 1 hour of me time. So I'm just like, I get away, I get to, stretch, lift, get cardio done, whatever, maybe it's everything. And then I come home in a way better mood. So isn't it crazy how, I mean, maybe you're doing a workout at home too, whatever it is. But after that, all of a sudden you're like a better human, right? And so we want our family, we want our spouse, our boyfriend, our partner, our kids to feel the same way. So like being that encourager again, instead of that sabotager, many times people have that where they're like, babe, stay here. Babe, do that. Why babe? That's what we call each other. So, or honey, sweetie, whatever, like, oh, do you really have to go today? Like, and also I always tell Kevin, like, hey, just so you know, like, it's really important to me. This week, I'm going to let you know, like on a Sunday, I'll tell him I'm working out these days of the week. And this is the day that I would like to work out with you. And then he knows, what to expect, instead of like, well, we were going to go on date night at 5. Well, I'm doing this at 5. You know what I mean? Instead of, it just takes a lot of that out of the way. But I think just always being clear on what your goal is and why you're doing it, you're going to have people support you, instead of like, oh, they're just trying to go get away from me.
Yeah.
They just want to go to the gym,
Yeah. And I think too, it's amazing. Like I'm always really grateful for my husband, because he knows me so well. He knows me more than I even know myself, probably most of the time. But something that I was super grateful for last year, I hyperextended my knee. Did you know you could do that? I did not.
Ow.
Yeah, it was tremendously painful, and it was really difficult for me, but I was like, okay, I'm injured. I'm like mentally gonna be okay. I'm like gonna do like my meditation, I'll do my physical therapy and like work my way back, and like trying really hard to like mindset myself to health, which mindset is a huge component. But I didn't realize until like after a few weeks of not being able to exercise, or I would go to the gym and I'm like doing the arm bike and I'm like feeling so down, being like, no one even uses the arm bike but I'm like here just trying to do whatever, just do like upper body lifting. And I just had this massive panic attack. And I'm like, I don't even know where this is coming from. Like, what is happening? And my husband, like, instantly, like, you didn't even see it, but he had this like Superman cape on and stuff, probably. But he was like, hey, it's because you're used to like really high intense exercise. And like, I teach my group fitness classes. I teach really, one class I teach is called Body Combat, and it's like hardcore. Yeah, it's like hardcore, like boxing, like really intense. And I was really missing my Body Combat class, but obviously there's like kicking and shuffling and stuff like that. But he's like, I think you need to go to your class, sit in a chair and go to your class. And so I went and I supported my substitute teacher. And I literally, well, it was so amazing. Like I might cry, but because it was so euphoric. And it made, at first I thought, I was like, I'm going to feel so dumb. Like, I'm going to feel so dumb. Everyone's used to seeing me at this like really high level of like jumping and stuff. And I'm like parked in this chair in the front row with my giant knee brace on. But I ended up doing the whole class and then continuing to go. And I didn't even realize until after that class, I was like, that is what I needed. Like, that's what I needed. And him being able to recognize that in me, saying, hey, like you're used to like really hardcore movement, and that's okay. Like let's just find a way to adapt that you can still feel that feeling, because I think that's what's gonna help with all this like anxiety. He's like, it's in your body. We got to get it out of your body. And like how grateful I get, so grateful for him, because he has been such a great, not just a good cheerleader, not somebody that just encourages me to like exercise because it makes me happy, but that sees me in a way that's like, no, this part of you makes you happy. Go to your class, go see your people, and go just try to make it work for you. And the way that totally saved my mental health through that injury, it was like 9 months of being out, but being able to have something that made me feel like myself was so healing and helpful. And so, our spouses have like their words, their ways of loving us. And if I could return the favor, like I need to be like half of as observant as he is, but if I could find a way to return the favor and just let him know like how much that meant to me, not only that he encouraged me to move again, but that he sees me, like he sees me, and that he appreciates and recognizes my goals for myself. It's one thing that I say, like, I'm like, this is what I'm doing, but the fact that he is there to like make it help be a facilitator of those things has been just a massive part of why I could do anything really.
I have chills. And I love that he understood how, even though he doesn't do group fitness, that he understood the power of community, the power of people surrounding you. That's like magical to me. I could picture you in the room and going through that. And it just made me so happy. And it's like, wow, that's so sweet that he saw that and that he encouraged, and that you didn't think, oh, that's dumb, I'm not going to do that. You were like, I'm going to do it. I think that's so cool.
It sounds dumb, but I'll try it anyway.
But I think being open to that is so important too, to like, that I'll just say that when I was my second kid and I had gained 65 pounds, I'm on the couch and my husband said to me, you should go to the gym. And I remember sitting there, I was so mad. Because in my head, I heard him say, you're fat, you're lazy. That's literally what I heard. If I can go and look back then. And all he wanted was for me to feel alive again and to feel happy again and to have the Molly that he knew was in there. And I know that, like your husband too, he knew what you needed. And so many times we want to say like, no, you're dumb, I don't need that. Instead, like, open your mind up to hear someone who actually really loves you and wants the best for you. So I don't think you and I would even be here being the happy moms that we are if it didn't have that and person to love us and tell us what we do need. And then we actually took action instead of saying, how dare you? So, you know what I mean? I remember, like, I'm like, Kevin, you changed my life. You changed my life by that one brave thing that you suggested. And I was mad at first. I was so mad. Okay. Anyway, I love that though. And I love, you also made me think of, the power of community, which is LadyBoss. And so if I haven't even said this in any of the podcasts yet, but if you haven't been part of the LadyBoss community yet, come and join us. And the slim down challenges and hearing free from Andy, they're free. And just knowing that you have girls, it's a women's community. And so you have women just, again, who get you, who understand you, who are there with you, side by side with you. You know what I'm saying, Andy? Like, if you want to chime in here. Yeah, exactly. It's powerful.
It's amazing to be around people that, like, you know, that quote's like, you are the sum of your 5 closest friends. It's like, how amazing is it that we have, like, what, I don't know, thousands and thousands of women in this community, that they're all driven toward the same thing. And we're all in different phases of our journeys, but being able to have like this community of people that are like, I see you. I've been there. I know where you're going, and I know I'm like right here with you in it. Like, that is such a huge and underrated tool that so many of us forget that we need. Is like, we all need our community. In person, we need that community throughout, or as many resources as we can get when it comes to trying to reach the versions of ourselves that we want to. And so being able to be in this community, like I said, it's free. Join us. But trying to be in there, and the more you involve yourself and share, the more people are so ready, open-armed to love you and to guide you with what they know, or to share with you and empathize with what they're struggling with too.
I love it. You know, you're not alone. And then there's people just sharing their story, sharing their journey, being brave, being vulnerable. And I think that the more we all do that, the more we can grow, and that we can change into the best versions of us. So, but I love that. So if you could, if right now I'm like, okay, I really want to get my people on board, like, or, you know, what steps should we tell our goals, and then, and again, pay attention to the language of what we're saying, our kids are watching. And then maybe, like, what do you think about just like inviting? Yeah. Like, I mean, inviting someone to join you in your closer circle. So maybe you don't have a spouse, maybe you don't have kids, but you can also do this. I never want to leave anyone out, because I'm like, maybe someone is single and they're like, well, I don't have anyone in my house. It's okay.
Yeah. Who's your emotional support friend? I always have. I have an emotional support friend. I bring her everywhere. She knows that she's my emotional support friend.
We all need an emotional support friend. I love that so much. I'm so that. So it's like, and then just sharing with her, like, girl, this is what, or, you know, this is what I want. This is what I need. Can you be there for me? I think clearly communicating that with, whether it's your emotional support friend, your husband, or even your kids, I think is so important, right?
Yeah. And then I think I'm really grateful for, like we've said it before, I love therapy, and I'm grateful for the tools I've learned in communication with those that I love, being able to say, hey, this is the goal that I want to achieve. But then also, like, hey, I'm having a hard day, and this is what I need. I need a pep talk, or today I need you to be gentle with me because I'm being really hard on myself. Or, hey, I need you to just like tell me to get, like, my sister, she's like, I need you to tell me to take my medication because I don't want to today. And so being able to have somebody that you can just be so open and honest and just say, hey, I just need you to tell me to get up off the couch, or I need you to tell me that I did a good job because I worked really hard and I'm very sore. Being able to have those people in your corner, and it's okay to ask for those things. It's okay to ask, because I think a lot of times our friends and our family, just, they want to support us. I think they just don't always know how or what support looks like to us that day. And so I think that's been a really powerful tool for me too, is not just sharing what I want to work toward, but also sharing what I need. Like, hey, I really want to, like, drop everything. I'm very tired. I'd rather go get a Little Caesars pizza than make dinner. But I need you to tell me that we can find a healthy option, or like just that I can do it. And sometimes just having that enabling encouragement when whatever support looks like that day, I think can make a tremendous difference for us as well.
Oh my gosh, I have total chills. Like, I love that so much. I mean, and it is so true. I think so many times our pride keeps us from saying what we actually need and want. And I mean, it's so powerful when it comes to our health, our fitness, our mental well-being, but like even in a relationship, like saying to, and my husband's really good at that, by the way. Sometimes, sorry.
Shout out to Kevin. We love him.
He'll even say to me, hey, I need I need more physical touch today. He'll say that to me. And I'm sharing this with the world. It doesn't matter. He'd be like, yeah, that's one of his love languages. He'll be like, I need you to do this for me. And so when it comes to anything, just be willing to do that. You will change your life. And so many times we have expectations. We expect people to understand what's going on in our heads. They can't read our minds. I just learned this after 29 years of marriage. He can't read my mind. And so then I'm disappointed because he can't read my mind, but I have an expectations, but he can't read my mind. So then I'm just, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. So I love that you said that, like, share what you need, share what you're going through, share your good times and your struggles, and you will get what you want out of whatever it is that is there in front of you. Like, that was huge to me. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I think people want to show up for us. They love showing up for us. Like if my friend tells me that she needs me today, like I'll drop everything and be there. But I think when we assume or we expect that, it's really hard. And I think it hurts us more than the other person when we have these unspoken expectations. But I think how powerful is it when we can know what we need, name it, and then let other people serve us and support us a way that they'll be able to say, hey, I know that you're going to love this because you literally told me this is what you needed today.
Yes. So, oh my gosh. That's so good. So talk about an awesome way to include your family. Like, you're actually just sharing what you need, and then they're just going to want to support you. So even if you're like, I need to move every day, and you're like, you know what, I'm feeling like I don't want to, they're like, let's go for a walk. Oh my gosh, you just got them to join you.
And they love it too. Like they want those opportunities. I think a lot of times we think that we need to be like these pillars of strength for our kids. But who's to say that like vulnerability isn't strength? Who's to say that like having a hard day and showing that isn't strength? And like how amazing to let our kids, I'm like, now I'm going to get emotional. How amazing to let our kids in on that, being like, mom has a goal, mom wants to do this, and I just can't. Like I have really bad, I'm like, here it comes. I get really bad seasonal depression in the summer. Isn't that so unfair? It's in the summer. And so it's really, I love and I crave the sun, but it's hard for me to get there. And so it's so amazing to have let my kids in on that, especially my older boys, because they're like, mom, we need to go outside. And I'm like, no, it's hot out there. And they're like, no, let's go. Like, let's take the top off. I have a Jeep. I got my dream Jeep, but my kids are like, let's take the top off the Jeep and drive away. Like we have to be out in the sun, and them even being able to be like my little heroes in that. It's not like a huge dump of responsibility or emotional turmoil on them, but them even recognizing like mom needs us to help her here.
Yes.
I think that is just, it's the best. It can be the worst when it is too hot and I don't want to go outside for real, but
when it's hot, it's so fun. Over 100 is like,
we'll go at 4. We'll go at 4 p.m. It's fine.
But also showing your kids, not especially, but kind of like boys, that like it's good to be honest, and but you know what I mean, for boys to know that they could be vulnerable, that they could be emotional, and also say like what they need, and for them to show up for you, like, good job, like right there, like, good job, mom. I just think that's so beautiful. And to know what's good, not just for your physical health, but like being outside is good for your mental health. I think that our kids, again, are watching, they're listening, and they're learning, and we're going to mess up, moms. I just want you to know I've messed up so many times. But you gave me one more funny thing I thought about when, like, for me, I work out to be in a better mood. That's literally why I work out. And I saw my mom as a kid. My mom raised nine of us kids. She had 9 kids.
Wow.
And basically alone. Our dad left when we were young, and I mean, he was there, but not really. So she raised us alone, and my mom would, to relieve her stress, she would say, bye, I'm going on a run. And I was like a little girl watching this, right? Or bye, I'm going to go on a walk. I'm moody right now. I'm grumpy. I'm stressed. And she would go, or if my brothers were really little, we had a pool with a big backyard, and she would go and just do laps around the pool. And that woman would power walk, I mean, arms involved and everything. And then she would come back a new woman. She would come back a more patient mom, a happier mom. I mean, like, literally, I watched it go from night to day in 20 minutes, sometimes maybe 10. And so as a kid, I was like, I linked that together. I was like, oh, when I'm grumpy, I move my body, I will be a happier person. And so that's how I roll still today. And when my kids were younger, I remember I was moody. I know people are like, you're always happy. I'm like, really? You're not at my house all the time. So, but I would get like, a little bit short fuse, especially with kids. Like you're just like, oh my gosh. And I remember my son Logan said, Mom, do you need to go for a run? And I said, you know what? Okay. So I went, put on my shoes, went for a quick run, jog, whatever. I'm not a big runner. So I would say like a little bit of like shuffling and like running, whatever. And I came back and I was like, okay, party people, it's on. And they were like, yes. And so they kind of learned that. And so now they're like, I'm going to move to be in a better mood. And I have kids that are healthy and they're fit and they, you know what I'm saying? And they don't struggle. And it's weird that we have that power as moms to teach them emotional fitness as well as physical fitness by
Absolutely.
our words, by our example, and by the way that we do things. So I always think, I just think like, shout out to my mom for showing me that. And she still does it today. The woman is 82. And yesterday I was like, do you want to go on a beach walk? And she was like, I already walked 6. I'm like, you're a freaking star. I mean, like that cape is hiding under her shirt. I'm going to have her on the podcast. I already warned her.
You have to.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So we have covered so much here, but I really feel like as women, as moms, we just have such this awesome opportunity to influence everyone in our lives and to just invite them to join us on this journey of health. It's nonstop, by the way. It goes through seasons, but it's nonstop, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
lifelong.
This is awesome. Lifelong, baby. So, okay, we always do one question at the end because we want to get to know you better, our lead trainer and amazing woman. So what, you have 3 kids. So I pray to God that you have some self-care days, some me days, some Andy days. So when you have your me day, when your husband's like, okay, babe, I love you, go do whatever you want, or, go take a couple hours or a whole day, whatever it is. What is your favorite activity to do?
Can it involve containers?
Oh my gosh.
Molly now knows I love containers.
I heart containers. Okay.
I would love that shirt.
This one cannot include containers. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, if they did include containers, then I just love tearing things apart and like putting it back so beautiful.
Come over my house anytime.
Done and done. But it's not often. So when I get like these huge surges of like, I need to clean everything, like quick story, my mother-in-law, we all lived together for like 9 months while she was rebuilding her home. And we had 2 households worth of stuff in my home. It was so much stuff. And so I would be like, okay, I got to clean everything. So I would just empty like the entire pantry, put it all out. And she's like, I don't know if I want to ask you to clean anything because you clean everything. Yes, I do. It's all or nothing. Okay, awesome. But my favorite self-care things, I think I just love getting to do, like, I call my emotional support friend. Shout out to you, Marissa. And we just like to do dumb things that make us laugh. So like sometimes we'll go to the pool, just like the 2 of us, and we are the ones that are like, let's play mermaids. I'm like 34 years old. I'm like, we're just gonna do something that's like dumb together. It's something that makes us just laugh really hard. And something like that. It's usually something really active, never hiking because she will not hike. But something that we can just feel goofy. She's one of the only people that reminds me that I can still be playful. Yes. Even as an adult, like even with my kids, I get really playful, but it's just like, it's different when you can just have like unhinged, irresponsible fun with somebody that just makes you feel like a kid. And so anything that can just make me laugh really, really hard. And so that's super vague, but there it is. I'm playing mermaids in the pool.
I love it. You're like a good laugh, a good belly laugh, and just freedom and just with your friend is the best. And I'm right there with you. Let's do the cannonballs in the pool. Let's do handstands. Let's do the hair that makes you look like, I don't know, like Washington or whatever. My daughter and her friends just did that at the pool last weekend. And I was like, you guys are 28 and you're making me so happy. Never stop that child wonder or that playfulness. That's, you know what I'm saying? And so I love that you can do that with Marissa. We all need to hang out with our Marissas in our lives. And you probably come back home and you're just like, let's go, family. I'm back. Yeah. Right? It's like refreshing.
I don't sleep. I just get so excited. I'm up all night and it's the best thing for me. And sorry for my husband, bud.
Oh my God. I love that. That's magical. All right. Well, you are amazing. I hope that everyone took notes because there were so many good moments. Maybe you go and replay it, but we would love for you to share this podcast with friends and, of course, give us a 5-star rating and just keep tuning in, like subscribe. And we have so many good things coming to you. And Andy is going to drop her wisdom and her joy and her infectious energy and her knowledge and her expertise and all that and real life stories, which I love so much because we're all just real people just trying to survive this life with as much joy and as best health that we can. So thank you so much, girlfriend.
Thank you. We'll see you guys hopefully soon.
Soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.